All right, guys, we are at 32 of 69 Mars laws, Elon Musk to consider. How can we colonize Mars and make a better future more utopistic for the rest of us? So 32, legislators cannot create laws and just implement them without letting the population know they will happen and give the population a chance to stop them from destroying the balance of the system. This is so important, guys. All of a sudden, you're just driving down the road and you hear something on the radio and you're like, wait a second, who the heck passed this law? This can't be a real thing. We need to have referendums where the population is involved and understands what's going on. They passed weird laws like, okay, we're going to let sex offenders out really easily. Or, there's a bunch of laws that just pass. And you're like, who the heck came up with this weird thing, right? We got to stop that immediately. 33, seek collaboration among humans. There are laws that need to be inalienable and are just human national rights that cannot be messed with or sent back to the states and that protect people forever. And those main laws, again, as I said before, are probably the laws that are here, which pretty much, whether you're on the left or the right, pretty much everybody agrees with and should be the common thing that nobody can ever mess with. Otherwise, you don't have a society anymore. You have something that is constantly being wrecked and ruined and getting worse and worse every year. And you don't want that. You got to have a balance. The best government is a boring government that does what it needs to do. And people have decent wages and people just wake up and just go about their lives feeling like they're safe and all that stuff. Because if you don't have that, then it really gets to be a banana republic. People like Trump should never be able to break the system and make women less equal than men, right? And turn them into third-class citizens like they are now. We don't want that. That should be outlawed. 34, treat others the way you would like to be treated unless you realize that you are not sane of mind and the pain as well as inflicting gratuitous violence on others. So basically, for the most part, it is what every single religion tells you, to treat others the way you'd like to be treated, unless you're a psychopath, right? If you like to stab yourself in the foot for fun, obviously don't go around stabbing people in the foot for fun. That should be outlawed, obviously. 35, stop corporations from being psychopaths. When your only goal is to maximize profits, then they will do the most horrific things, like behave like Foxconn on USA soil, right? When you bring in illegal migrants to as a slave force to do everything on half the time, on half the budget, you are destroying the rights of union Americans who want proper wages. You can't do that. You can't do that. That's absolutely horrific. Basically, you are allowing these corporations to behave like Foxconn, but on USA soil. And, that's why so many people come in illegally into the United States, is so they can be used as slave force. 36, treat all people with respect until they show signs of malevolence that are unjustified and do not come from blatant misunderstandings or cultural differences, right? Springfield Gate is a perfect example of that. Eating the dogs, eating the cats. Where did we see this before? They did this to all kinds. I'm not going to mention which populations because I don't want to bring back the deep cuts that caused. But this thing, we've heard it so many times before, and other communities have been called dog eating and cat eating and pet eating. This is terrible and should stop. 37, the right to own weapons for the purpose of self-defense only, and to keep pressure on the government so that it cannot become too powerful and stop working for the people is important. However, we must not lose sight of the fact that bringing a gun to school is a bad idea, right? Guns are great for so many different things, but do we really want to hand a bunch of kids weapons in school? No, we don't want to do that because we all know how it goes. There's bullying, there's cyberbullying, there's all kinds of things that can happen. People can get angry, and when you're young, you pick up a gun and you shoot somebody, right? It's the easiest thing. It's harder to kill somebody with a pencil than it is with a pen, with a gun. So that's why we can still use pencils at school, but we don't, right? Anyway, so people get into arguments at school. Waving a gun around is excess, right? It's what they call excess of self-defense. It's too much. Not sure why you would let guns into schools at all. Seems like a horrific practice that can only lead to death. If you wanted to bring guns to school, you would need lockers outside of school in a separate building dedicated to this. And then you could pick up your gun at the end of school on your way home if you live in a dangerous neighborhood. So maybe you need a gun to get from school to home, but just don't bring any schools into the school. Don't bring any guns into the Yay, I did a Biden. So then police officers or security guards responsible for security of the children and staff are the only people who should have guns on school grounds. 38. It is forbidden for soldiers to kill women and children during combat. That should be a thing everywhere. It should be a human right for women and children to be spared during war times. I don't care. I'm just so tired of people saying human shields. Find a better way to save them. Create special zones during wartime where you only allow women and children. Get them out of the war so that they don't have to be affected by the war, and then just go at it, do whatever you got to do. But create these free zones only for women and children so that you don't have to go through this ever again. War should never have women and children involved. It just shouldn't. 39. Science must acknowledge the existence of the aura, which is a toroidal electromagnetic field proven by modern technology. Then number 40 is science must acknowledge the existence of the soul. When humans do not acknowledge the existence of the soul, it is easy to get away with allowing atrocities like the dehumanization of people. During war, if there is no soul to protect people, they're going to use basically people, if they just think that they're destroying bodies and there's no soul in them, then who cares about the enemy, right? If the enemy is a bug, you can just squash it and just move on. So it's important to assess and find the technology that actually determines that there is a soul. We have the technology now to say that the aura exists, and so nobody's going around saying, "Oh, the aura doesn't exist." And it really annoys me when people like Neil deGrasse Tyson says, "Oh, but we did that in the past." Yeah, well, you were using a rangefinder, right? If you use a rangefinder, what's that for? To find the range between you and from one object to another, to figure out how far the object is. Well, the soul is not findable through X-rays. That is the dumbest thing that I've ever heard. So there's other ways of finding the soul. You're just trying to hide it from the human public. So, and that would also help a lot with the problems with abortion, because we know that the human soul is not put into a body until way later, right? Towards the very end, close to when the baby is actually born. That's when they put in the soul into the human. So a lot of things, religious things, such as they did in the old days. Oh, women don't have souls, so they're lesser humans. You can treat them like crap. So we got to really bring this to the forefront, and we need to build a technology for this stuff, because there's a lot of stuff that can be fixed, and we can fix a lot of problems by having decent people working in science and not these these fake scientists. But anyway, and again, I'm not saying this about Neil deGrasse Tyson, saying that I don't like him. I like him a lot. He does some cool stuff. But don't hide behind this awful stuff that makes no sense. X-rays are not going to be the solution to find this. So anyway, I'm going to be back in the last video. We're at 41, so maybe we can finish in the next one. But thanks for watching, guys.